Well, with the advent of the MCU winding down, well, not really, and the Disney buyout of Fox, the Marvel Universe is entering a new era. The video games seem to be largely doing their own thing. I loved the Spider-Man game for PS4 last year, and the Avengers game that's coming out next year looks... well, I'll reserve judgment for now, considering that we really didn't see much of it. And next month, for the Nintendo Switch, we're getting Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, and I can't wait. I remember playing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 quite rigorously when they came out, but as time has gone on, some people look back on these games and don't think they hold up. Seriously, Mr. Sunday? Caravan of garbage? That's not the impression this game got when it first came out. It got great reviews, some history. Raven Software actually developed the first two X-Men Legends games, so technically I'm cheating on my rule of doing a series in order, but since this is technically the beginning of a new series, as while those games obviously are mainly focused on the X-Men, this game is about the larger Marvel Universe as a whole. Much different time, back when the MCU wasn't the end-all be-all things of how people saw the Marvel characters. Can I just say, I like a lot of what the MCU and what it's done for the motion picture industry, but look people, it is not the end-all be-all image of Marvel. There was a history before that. The MCU has not even been around for 10% of Marvel's history. The MCU would not exist if not for Marvel's incredible comic book history. The MCU is, has, and always will be an offshoot of the Marvel comic universe. Get it? Got it? Good. So to start off this game, we have Nick Fury. Yeah, Nick Fury, back when he was known as a white guy. The Ultimate version, which the MCU was based off of, was only a few years old, I believe. At the time of this game's release, the Ultimate comics were basically Marvel's big moneymaker, so the games were often a reflection of that. So Marvel making something based on whatever their current cash cow is really nothing new. Most of the characters in this game, like Thor and Captain America, are based on their Ultimate looks, while Wolverine is basically just doing the Hugh Jackman look, which is just a sweatshirt and jeans. Yeah, I just switched into his yellow and blue costume right away. The X-Men movies, they had good things about them, but they look so generic and pedestrian these days. Anyway, back on topic. The story starts off with Dr. Doom attacking the helicarrier, and Fury calls in the heavy hitters, who you'd think would be the entire Marvel Universe as a whole, but for the cutscenes it's only 4 guys: Captain America, Thor, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. Cap pretty much shows that he's the badass as he takes charge, except for one who won't listen.
Wolverine, you do it, Boy Scout. I don't take orders from you.
Now, I know Wolverine's the hard to work with badass, but isn't he supposed to have immense respect for Cap? Just kinda odd.
What are you girls looking at?
The story opens with the prologue on the helicarrier, with the first act basically being the part where you are in Stark Tower. And it's beautiful. Can I point out how odd it is that despite your playable team consisting of more than just, these 4 characters, you only really see the following characters: Wolverine, Spider-Man, Cap, Thor, Storm, Elektra, and Iron Man, who actually stops appearing in cutscenes after the mission to the Omega Base. Really odd, but this was around the time Civil War was being published, and I think everyone hated him at the time. Of course, then Marvel had to do a memory wipe to fix him when they realized, oh wait, he's going to be the leading man in our big cinematic universe, but everyone hates him! Whoops! Better fix this! But that's another story. So the first act is the heroes trying to stop Dr. Doom and the Masters of Evil. Very original name, everyone. Who are visiting areas such as the Omega Base, Atlantis, and it seems as though Mandarin's working for them, but really isn't. Really, the meat of the story concerns Black Widow and whether or not she's a traitor. Yeah, I don't think the storyline would have ever been considered in a post-Avengers movie world. Every time you go to Stark Tower, you can visit where the heroes hang out, and you can get interesting tidbits as to what's going on in the Marvel Universe. You recruit Deadpool's friend Weasel to find out what's going on with the Black Widow and if she's a traitor. Of course, Deadpool treats him with utmost respect.
Weasel, old buddy. I haven't seen you in weeks. Where have you been hiding?
In the hospital, you stabbed me in the leg. Remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. But I had to. You were trying to eat the last cheesy puff.
It was my bag of cheesy puffs.
Well, that's not how I remember it.
Of course, it turns out that Mandarin was a diversion, as Doom has kidnapped two X-Men, Nightcrawler and Jean Grey. So the second act takes place in Sanctum Sanctorum, Doctor Strange's home. It's not quite as glamorous as Stark Tower, but it feels comfortable. This act consists of going to Murder World where you rescue Jean, and then go to Mephisto's realm where you rescue Nightcrawler. Yeah, now if only we could stop Mephisto before he undoes Spider-Man's marriage to Mary Jane. This part is most notable because it's the only part where you have to make a sadistic choice. You can't save both Nightcrawler and Jean Grey. But I had Magneto in my party, so I don't know why Magneto couldn't just levitate the cages. I saved Jean because I had Nightcrawler in my party of characters, so we don't need two, sorry! Of course, it's a bittersweet ending as you find out that Doom wanted the Twilight Sword. But for what purpose? So now the third act takes place in Asgard. You get more insight as to what Doctor Doom wants, and Weasel pretty much confirms it. Doctor Doom is after Odin's power. He wants to steal it for himself, and they suspect Black Widow is helping. But Fury disproves it. But it pretty much confirms that, yeah, he kept what Doom was after from the heroes, which is a typical Fury thing to do. Remember, he may be a good guy, but that doesn't always mean it's always pleasant for the other good guys. So really, this battle is all about the confrontation with Loki, but Doom has stolen Odin's power and now has the power to control the universe. Yeah, MCU Odin really got nerfed from his comic book counterpart. MCU Odin would probably lose to Master Roshi. Don't quote me on that. But whatever the case, the mood is set because Doctor Doom's unrestrained use of Odin's powers will eventually undo the universe as we know it. The heroes were saved by the timely intervention of Uatu, the Watcher. To combat this, the heroes must get a piece of the M'Kraan crystal and go toe-to-toe with Galactus. Not an easy task. The fourth act takes place in space. Of course, getting the M'Kraan crystal is not going to be as easy, because Deathbird took her sister's throne and you have to stop her. The second mission is going to the Skrull planet and running from Galactus. All pretty standard stuff. Before we get into the final act, I'll cover the rest of the game. But the story is really nothing to write home about. It's not particularly complex or nuanced, it's just a fun little crossover story. The biggest draw of the story is having all these characters from the Marvel Universe. There's so many little corners of the Marvel Universe at play here, and interacting with all these characters leads to some pretty fun occurrences. As for the graphics, well, this is the Gold Edition that I'm playing off the Xbox 360. You see, the game was made available digitally on PS4 and Xbox One, but it was removed from stores last year, and you people wonder why I fear the digital-only age. It's upscaled from how it was originally. See, this was originally developed as a PS2-era game, and it was available for not only PS2, but for Xbox, Wii, PSP, all those old consoles. So this was upscaled to play in HD graphics, basically a fine coat of paint. Of course, we have two kinds of cutscenes. The real-time cutscenes that look pretty impressive even today, and the in-game cutscenes which are done with the in-game engine. The voice acting is relatively hit and miss. These are all fine actors, but some feel woefully miscast, like Quentin Flynn as Spider-Man. He's basically his pre-cyborg ninja Raiden voice. And Cam Clark as Odin, I love Cam Clark, but he just doesn't fit the part too well. Steve Blum is as good as always as Wolverine, and the guy playing Captain America doesn't quite have the voice that commands gods, but he comes close enough at times. Now for the gameplay. You only have a team of 4, and you have 4 buttons: a weak attack button, a strong attack button, a grab button, and a jump button. What's good about the jump is that if you're using a character who can fly, they can fly by pressing the jump button twice. Or in the case of Spider-Man, he can web swing. Yep, that's all I need. By pressing the right trigger button, you can access to the character's special moves, with the punch buttons being attack buttons, the grab button being a buff, and the jump button being a special attack. You can customize your character to the way you want. Each character has different attributes and they all fit their moveset well. The cast of characters is very well handled. You have your Avengers, X-Men, Defenders, Fantastic Four, and of course Spider-Man. With the Gold Edition you have more characters, and it's the only way to actually play as these characters. They have villains such as Magneto and Venom and Doctor Doom, who is the main villain, and adds additional heroes such as Colossus, Cyclops, and Nightcrawler, despite the fact that these characters are NPCs in the actual story, so that raises some questions. Some characters were unlockable, like Daredevil, Blade, and Ghost Rider, but I've already long since unlocked these characters, so there's not much to say about that. When not attacking bad guys, there's a lot to take in, such as talking to characters and often learning their history. It's a good way to unwind. There's trivia games, finding details about the characters and their history, and you can get fun little interactions. You can even do these comic book missions with each character going on a mission. Some are easy, but some can be really annoying, like Spider-Man's, because you have to keep Dum Dum Dugan from dying, and the guy just goes out of his way to make sure that he does die. As for the levels, it's nice to have a good variety of levels, but can I just say that the Myrtle World enemies are so annoying to listen to.
Big play!
Also, throughout each world, you're often left with an additional objective. Fortunately, these objectives are marked on your map. These do affect the ending a little bit, but it's nothing too noteworthy. The absolute worst, though, has got to be when I had to save Lundra because my teammates kept running away from the control thing. Like, where are you idiots going? Come back here and help me destroy the computer, you morons! The bosses are pretty run-of-the-mill, like normal enemies. Just gotta keep mashing the button, and then there's big guys like Galactus, which usually involves quick-time events. Thank you, God of War. They're not too hard, since it's pretty easily laid out which button you have to push, so nothing too noteworthy. Now for the endgame. So you get a pretty badass cutscene of Doom being, well, a badass. Colossus is missing his arm and leg, and it just looks so brutal. Ouch. Of course, being that this is Doom, he turns the defeated heroes into corrupted minions. He would do that. The final level mainly consists of running around, gathering Doom's items, battling corrupted heroes. It's all pretty run-of-the-mill. Then finally you confront Dr. Doom, who is apparently way bigger now than he was before. Weird. If you take your Dr. Doom here, you find out that the Dr. Doom you're fighting is from the future. I think it's non-canon, though? Anyway, before you fight Doom, you have to defeat his Dark Fantastic Four, which is pretty standard. Then touch Dr. Doom and finally you can hurt him. From there, it's your pretty standard end boss fight. He just keeps running away. The atmosphere is good, taking place in Doom's throne room, so defeating him is simple enough.
Fools! You've accomplished nothing!
Doom!
Odin! You can't be free!
Your wretched scheme is undone, and your black soul is mine!
No!
An eternity of suffering is the fate of those who challenge the gods!
Now, why doesn't he just do that all the time? So whatever the case, all is well, the task force is disbanded, because of course it is.
Listen, fellas, I don't care if you like me, but if a threat like this comes again, can S.H.I.E.L.D. count on your help? The world can count on us, sir.
Adding to that, you better look like Samuel L. Jackson next time.
Such insignificant creatures. They dare steal from Galactus. For that, I will destroy their planet.
Ooh, Galactus is going to be the main villain next time. That's gonna be fun. Oh yeah, it was a Civil War adaptation. Never mind. So all those decisions you made, well, it was for the best that you did them because it leads to a better future. The only different change is that if Jean died, she becomes Dark Phoenix, which is nothing new. If Nightcrawler died, then Mystique kills Professor Xavier, even though Nightcrawler is at the funeral. So yeah, somebody screwed up here. Then you get a brief after-credits scene where Black Widow is revealed to be a double agent after all and sets Weasel up to take the fall. This would never have happened nowadays. It doesn't go anywhere in the sequel, so yeah. So that's Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Is it bad? No. Has it aged? Yes. The whole idea of the game is that you get to play as a variety of Marvel superheroes and beat up bad guys. So in that aspect, Marvel Ultimate Alliance works very well. It's not garbage, it's just pretty standard. It's decent. And that's it. That's all I have to say about it. But the next time we do this series, we'll be doing Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, which covers the Civil War story, several years before the MCU did that. So join me then.
Although this timeline was created by you, know that it can be altered. For you are a hero, and your every action, or inaction, affects the entire universe.